So in this lecture we will discuss about graphs of quadratic polynomials further and see the signs of A, B and C, signs of these coefficients, okay, for various graphs of quadratic polynomial. We have already seen that a quadratic will have its maximum or minimum value according as A is negative or A is positive at x equal to minus b by 2a, and the value will be minus d by 4a, right? The maximum or minimum value, that is extreme value, will be minus d by 4a and it will be at x equal to minus b by 2a, right? In both the cases, whether a is less than 0 or greater than 0. But when a is less than 0, we saw that graph has to be opening downwards because it will have maximum value, and it can have maximum value only when the graph is opening downwards. And in case of a greater than 0, it has to have a minimum value, so the graph has to open upwards, right? It cannot go below this, but when it is opening upwards, the maximum value is not defined or it does not exist, right? So let us draw various graphs and discuss about signs of A, B and C, and we will also see the usage of maximum and minimum value of the quadratic expression. For example, let us first of all discuss this one, ax square plus bx plus c, where a is not equal to 0, will have its maximum, obviously maximum when a is less than 0, or minimum at a greater than 0, will have its maximum or minimum values at x equal to minus b by 2a, and the values will be, and it will be equal to minus d by 4a. It will be equal to negative d upon 4a. Okay, so if you are given a certain quadratic equation, or sorry, quadratic polynomial, in this case let us say 2x square minus 4x plus 5. Okay, so what can you say about the, now you can say that a is positive, the coefficient or leading coefficient is positive, so the graph will open upwards, hence it will have minimum value. Okay, so now I ask you that what will be minimum value of this function, this quadratic polynomial. You know that the minimum value will be at x equal to minus b by 2a. So this f min will exist at x equal to minus b, that is minus of, this is b, negative 4, by 2a, that is 2 into 2. Hence it will be equal to 4 by 4, that is equal to 1. Now to obtain the minimum value, what is the minimum value? Whatever it be, it will be at x equal to 1. So I'll simply put x equal to 1 in this quadratic polynomial to get its minimum value. So the minimum value will be 2 into 1 squared minus 4 into 1 plus 5. I am putting 1 in place of x. Okay, so the value will be 2 minus 4 plus 5, that is equal to 5 minus 2, that is 3. So the minimum value of this quadratic expression or quadratic polynomial is going to be 3, and it will be at x equal to 1. It will be at x equal to 1. Okay, so these kind of questions can be solved with this knowledge in 30 seconds, let us say. Otherwise, to obtain its minimum value, you will have to convert it into complete square, or you can do it through calculus. Alright, so after this, let me show you some graphs. let me show you some graphs. For example, let it be one of the graphs of f equal to ax square plus bx plus c. Now, what can you say about the signs of a, b and c? Okay, what is a? A is positive or negative? It is opening upwards. This graph is opening upwards. So what can you say about a? It will be positive. Now, the next thing that I want you to notice is, what is c? C is nothing but f of 0. If you replace x with 0, you will, on the right hand side, you will get a 0 squared plus b into 0 plus c. That is c. So c is nothing but value of this polynomial at x equal to 0 or f of 0, right? So what is f of 0? When x is 0, this point here is f of 0. Hence, the coordinates of this point will be 0 comma c, or you can say that this is c. Hence, it is in the positive direction of y-axis. So we can say that this c is positive. C is positive. So you can directly see where the graph is cutting y-axis. If it is cutting above the x-axis, then you can directly say that C is positive. If it is cutting below the x-axis, then you can directly say that C is negative, right? I will consider those cases also. But for value of, or the sign of B, for sign of B, you need to consider this. This is the minimum value of this graph, and this minimum value will be at x equal to minus b by 2a. So this value of x here is minus b by 2a. And what is this value in this case? Is it positive or negative? So this point is on the positive side of x-axis. So minus b by 2a in this graph is greater than 0. Minus b by 2a is greater than 0. And you know that a is positive. So this is positive. So for minus b to be greater than 0, b has to be negative. So b has to be negative to satisfy this inequality. So b is negative in this graph. This is how you can comment about the signs of a, b and c in the graphs of quadratic polynomials. Let us consider some other graphs. Let us consider a graph opening downwards in this case. Okay, this is the vertex. This is called as vertex, right? Now, what were the coordinates of vertex? We know that x coordinate is minus b by 2a and y coordinate is minus d by 4a. Okay, so what can you say about signs of a, b and c? A and c you can comment directly. It is opening downwards. So a is clearly negative. It is cutting the y-axis at above the x-axis, right? So this is the value of c. So c is positive in this case. To comment about b, I need to see what is minus b by 2a. Minus b by 2a is here, somewhere here, which is on the negative side of x-axis. So minus b by 2a is less than 0 in this case, right? Minus b by 2a is less than 0. And what about a? A itself is negative. A is negative. So if you consider a negative, then this portion negative and this negative makes it positive, right? So for to satisfy this inequality, b has to be negative. So b is less than 0. B is negative, right? You can observe it like this. Okay. Now let me take one more graph for you to understand the signs of A, B and C. Okay. All right. For this graph, this is the vertex. So here I'll have minus b by 2a. In this graph, this is C, right? It is opening upwards, so A is positive. it is cutting the y-axis below this horizontal line. So C is clearly negative. Minus b by 2a in this case is positive, and a is also positive. So to satisfy this inequality, b has to be negative, right? So b is negative. So this is the way you can comment about signs of a, b and c. Okay, let me take one more graph. Let us take this graph here. Okay, so this is the maximum value of this graph. Obviously it will happen at x equal to minus b by 2a. All right, and this is where it cuts the y-axis. So this is the value of c, and it is opening downwards. So a will be negative, c we have seen is negative. To comment about b, we have to see minus b by 2a, which is positive in for this graph. Minus b by 2a is positive, but a is negative. So a being negative and this negative sign, this much expression is positive. So b has to be positive. B has to be positive. So these are the signs of A, B and C. I hope you can now clearly, by looking at the graph, you can comment about signs of A, B and C. Okay.